The sanctions will come off when we are sure that the nukes are no longer a factor. Sanctions played a big role, but they'll come off at that point. I hope it's going to be soon, but they'll come off. They, as you know, and as I've said, the sanctions right now remain. But at a certain point, I actually look forward to taking them off.
An agreement for full denuclearization has been made, but the sanctions remain in place. President Trump says he trusts Kim Jong-un and believes he will indeed hold up his end of the deal. But what happens next? What steps need to be taken for North Korea to disarm and for those sanctions to actually be removed? Let's bring in North Korea expert and Foundation for Defense of Democracies senior fellow Anthony Ruggiero. Anthony, listen, I guess we're all skeptical when it comes to North Korea. We've been down this road before, but is it different this time? Does it feel different?
Well, you know, the language looks very similar to the language we had in 2005 with the joint statement. That was a very similar framework agreement, and then the talks broke down when North Korea wasn't even ready to declare the entirety of its nuclear program. As you said, we've seen this movie before. The question is the next round of negotiations. Has North Korea made the strategic decision to denuclearize, and are they prepared to put something concrete behind that?
You know, there's been a lot said that President Trump has empowered Kim in the same way that Ronald Reagan empowered Mikhail Gorbachev. And it took it took 5 summits for the Reagan-Gorbachev era before that wall was torn down. Is this the beginning? Could we be headed in the same direction as the Reagan-Gorbachev meetings? Could we see that with the Trump-Kim meetings, giving Kim the power to make these moves, empowering him, in other words, to make these huge moves?
Well, I think with the Gorbachev-Reagan summits, we didn't know after the first one, so probably a little early to tell. But I think the issue here is similar to the Soviet Union. For North Korea and for Kim itself, the regime has tied its survival to its nuclear weapons programs and to really subjugating its own people. So the suggestion that the U.S. could somehow have a relationship with North Korea, it's likely that North Korea doesn't exist without nuclear weapons or the gulags that they currently have their own citizens in. So there's probably a difference there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, could Kim Jong-un open up the country, bring economic prosperity, at least the beginnings of it, but also keep power? I mean, obviously, the bottom line for dictators, they want to keep power. Can he do that while opening up North Korea?
Well, I think that'll be difficult for him because the way he remains in power is by, not allowing the North Korean people to see the things that we take for granted every day in terms of a free press and our own choices. Those things certainly could undermine his power. He's not going to, allow elections or anything of the sort. I think once North Koreans see what the South Koreans have, they're likely going to want that as well. I think there's a danger there for North Korea, and that's probably why they will make up an excuse or find a reason to move beyond, move away from this diplomacy track.
Well, and diplomatically, we have been down this road before, but we've never had a president like Donald Trump before. And that could change the dynamic. It feels like it already has. He speaks strongly, off the cuff often, but he has made some very strong statements. Are those statements enough to rattle North Korea? Is that what's brought the North Korean leader to the table in the first place?
Certainly. I think the rhetoric from last year through this year, the sanctions, I think both the Chinese and the North Koreans underestimated President Trump, thought that President Trump was like his bipartisan predecessors. I mean, North Korea policy was a bipartisan failure before the Trump administration. But the key point here is it's not about the optics. It's not about what we're saying. It's not about the flags. It's not about the size of the table. It's about, will North Korea denuclearize? Will they make significant, concrete, irreversible steps toward denuclearization? That's really the only question that we need to answer, and we don't have an answer to that after the summit.
Are you more hopeful now than you were before the summit began?
I'm neutral on that. I was, I thought we were still in a status quo place. I'm disappointed that we haven't continued with sanctions and that it seems like we're giving up the military exercises for nothing. I think those were, some things that we should have held back for future negotiations. I hope that the next round of negotiations brings something more concrete.
All right, we'll see, but fascinating to follow. Anthony Ruggiero, thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us. We appreciate it.